world has collapsed. If you're inside your flat, there's nowhere to go for Carl and his cat, except into the dungeon in which they're ensnarled. It's a big game of life and death for Donut and Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
And welcome to Literarily Wasted. This is our yay! We've got some special guests here. We've got Leanne, aka Princess Donut herself,
Who's wearing the most amazing shirt.
and
Oh, that's awesome.
and we have Giggles
Praise.
/
Hello.
Amber.
Hi, Amber.
Hey.
So we are here. This is our June book, Dungeon Crawler Carl, which I've spent all month learning how to pronounce correctly, saying Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Yeah, it's tough.
Try saying that 5 times fast.
Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Blah, blah, blah.
And so this is our 6-year anniversary book discussion.
Yep.
So happy anniversary. Yay.
Yay, we did it.
Yay.
We did it. We made it to 6 years. And we're here to talk about Dungeon Crawler Carl. And this is very exciting because I think this book has like garnered a reputation even before this book discussion, like on Discord and on Facebook. Everybody's talking about it. And I think it's hot. It's a hot book right now. It's a hot book series.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to have finally been able to read it and talk to you about it. So I think we should jump right in. And I'm going to ask a very loaded question to start this off. What did you think of the book, Leanne?
Oh, I don't know what Leanne's going to say.
Show off your shirt, Show off your shirt again. Let me see. Look at that. And if you didn't read the book, you don't know what this is, but
you should.
you should.
But you should. You definitely should.
So, Leanne, what did you think of this book?
I love this book. I was not expecting to love this book, and I was not expecting to dive preaching headfirst into the series and just devouring all the other books. But here we are.
Here we are. It's like watching a train wreck. I can't stop. For the whole series so far, I really like this book. Can't wait to read more. Giggles.
Yes.
Hi.
What did I think about it?
What did you think of this book?
I don't really have a strong opinion, actually.
Okay. Indifference. That's something.
I mean, not fully indifference, but it's like it was a book. I read it, and I now have the story in my head, but I don't have like a strong
That's fine.
And I definitely don't have a dislike of it. Just kind of there.
It was a book that you read, and there you go.
And it wasn't like so much like a book that I've read that I envisioned the characters with. So it was like at least a very rich story in my head. It's like, yeah, kind of like mythology. Like it's not that I like it or dislike it. Just I know it now. Yeah.
Well, all opinions are welcome here, and I think that'll make for some good discussion. Christy.
I haven't figured out how I feel about this book. I think I wasn't in the right place to read this book. And there's some things I love about this book. Like I loved all of the achievements and all of the AI stuff in the dungeon. I love the premise. I love the writing. I thought it was really funny. I laughed out loud lots of times. I listened to the audiobook. The narration is fantastic. They even made the stupid like credits at the end after the audiobook, like made those fantastic too. Like it's just
Wow.
very impressive. But I guess there were a couple of things that like just kept me from loving the whole book. And so I came into today thinking I wasn't going to read on, but then I actually went through the Discord channel, like all of it today, and read through it. And you guys have already convinced me to try book 2. And I think that's feeling's just going to kind of grow through this discussion, because just hearing how everybody else felt about it usually helps me. But I mean, we'll definitely talk more about everything.
And yeah, we have some people in the comments that are agreeing and say it's just okay, it was fine, it was fun. The narrator sounded like Kronk. So I enjoyed this book. I liked it. I liked it. I play video games, and so like I understand all of the video gamey things, and also really enjoyed. So I overall, like I really enjoyed this book, and I would absolutely continue to read the series because, well, come on, like where it ended, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Kira just said, it ended like mid-sentence. As far as the story is concerned, yeah, it absolutely ended like mid-sentence. I had a really good time with it. And I think that it maybe took me a minute to like really kind of get hooked on it, but once I did, I was like, okay, like I had no problem like wanting to see what happened next. There were so many set pieces in this book. I think it had a really kind of great like ebb and flow structure where it's like big stuff and then there's some time to kind of chill out and think about it. Whoa, it's a big thing again. So I enjoyed the pacing. I enjoyed the action sequences. I really, really enjoyed I referred to it earlier as like the seeds that were planted in this book, because this, like, there were times where I'm like reading this book and I'm thinking, man, Matt, Mr. Author, like you put a lot of like thought and like energy into the world building and there were so many seeds that were planted in this book, and I was both like thrilled to see them and also like angry because I knew once I'm 75% of the way through and we're only on floor 2 that we're not going to see some of this stuff.
Yeah.
We can delve more into that later, but overall I'm a fan, and I will like to see more from this.
I think one of the things that I was really impressed with the book about was it started so quickly. Like we immediately got thrown in, but I think they did it like in a really successful way, actually, like introducing us to the characters and then like, killing almost all the humans on the planet. I was very impressed with the whole setup for the story.
But I also thought about you, Leanne, a lot when I was reading this book.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this book, if I know Leanne as much as I think I do, like I feel like Matt did like a search of all the people on the planet and like found Leanne and was like, I'm gonna write this book for this person.
And Jason too.
And Jason. Because I was just thinking about you the whole time. I was like, man, Leanne's gonna love Leanne. No wonder she loves it so much. Like,
and I was thinking about with the video game mechanics and stuff, I was like, Adam will totally get this. And Christy does the video game thing too, so they should really probably both get this aspect of it.
Now, Giggles, do you play games? How was the video game stuff for you?
Like
that's Benny.
It mostly worked for me outside of the video game element. So like the more descriptive it was, the more I understood it. Because I am familiar with a little bit of the world, but not, I don't think I connected to it in the way that other people who are familiar with it could.
Yeah. That's fair. Because I'm interested to see like the people who don't play video games, like, was this just, I mean, you can understand it, but is it like,
I love like the unboxing part of it. Like that part was really fun for me, even though, so then I've played a couple of games where it is like smash all the pots and see what you can find. I'm not sure if that's why, or if it was just the like excitement of like Easter morning.
It's like, you got nothing. Reward.
That
You're
was
alive.
awful.
The humor in the descriptions got
Oh my
me many
gosh, they're
times.
so
Like,
funny. And the references were really funny too when I got them.
yeah, and like, you know, Donut naming all the people after TV shows that they watch, like Rory and
Rory.
Lorelai, and
Mhm.
Lorelai.
it was just a lot of fun references. Lauren says, I don't think I would have continued if it wasn't so surprisingly deep. And that
Yeah.
I think is what helped me too, is kind of the peeling away of the onion layers of, because when it started, it didn't feel deep at all. Like it was like, this happened and now we're in this video game. And it was very video gamey, and it was just kind of like, I felt like he's just writing a video game story. And then, but then, you know, like as it peels away, like the layers of the world building and the world outside of the world, and these corporations and this sort of extraterrestrial politics that's happening around the game, and like you see, like, you know, some of the NPC characters start to be like real people, or real, like, you know. And then I think one of the moments that did it for me, and not to jump too far ahead, was when he realized he murdered children. I was like, oh God.
Yeah, but it was so quick. He's like, "Oh crap!" But let's move on.
No, I didn't feel like he moved on so fast from that. I feel like that
He's like, yeah, it's time for the 50 or so goblin babies, and he was like, what? God damn it, Donut.
Yeah, that was one of the moments for me that I felt like it kind of got delved deeper. And when you have NPCs, like, you think of an NPC as just kind of a like fake, like, computer character, and
Right.
they're all kind of like trying to wink at you through their facade and saying like, please help me, and like that kind of, like, even some of the creatures in the dungeon, you know, once they befriended them.
Well, and the creatures in the dungeon have like dreams and goals and families, and I really appreciated that the NPCs weren't just AI. Like, I really appreciated that those are other beings in this thing, and I liked that he was conflicted some of the time. I even didn't mind like some of the more gruesome things, like killing the room of like babies and stuff. I mean, clearly that's terrible, and it made me sad. But like the fact that that's part of this dungeon is so messed up, and I can appreciate that. What I think really bothered me was that they kept throwing some of this like deeper, messed up stuff, and I felt like it just got glossed over by Carl, like specifically, I guess.
I think that's one of the things I appreciated, was that I felt like the book didn't, that it respected deaths a lot more than some other things that have tried to have serious elements and move on if it's like it's nothing, and then it leaves me like weirded out. But I felt like that, like, it, even the way that everybody died in the beginning, you don't have any time to process that, but then they go back to it. I appreciated the time to respect the deaths as we could. But yeah, that's how it hit me, was that there was, but if it wasn't, I would definitely have troubles with that too.
And you're right. Like, there is no time for them to like truly process everything that's going on, like all of these incredibly like huge things happening to them. So I guess.
Yeah, I actually felt like it wasn't, I didn't feel like it was glossed over. I felt like it actually, like for me and for the pacing and for Carl, I felt like he.
Yeah, you see how much it affects Carl, you know, whenever he's like all of the, you know, all the people, and especially when he's looking at like the countdown, like these many crawlers came in, and then now there's this many crawlers, and then now there's this many crawlers. Carl is like, these are all the people that are left on Earth, and they're just ripping through us like we're nothing. And, you know, it really, well, pisses him off, for lack of a better term. Righteously so.
I feel like they use the extremity to give us the reason for the depth of emotion to have against the alien, the runners of the show. Otherwise, I feel like it If it was less, I'm not sure that an extreme reaction would feel warranted. But they make everything, even just like the small moments inside the game, you're like, oh, okay, I can get involved in the game, and then something happens. We're like, no, you can't just go with the game. Like, it's just too bad. So I felt like that gave us the impetus for, okay, let's overthrow the people who running this.
Yeah.
And also then we see that all of the aliens are like being forced into this whole thing. So it almost gives us a chance to think maybe we need to free everybody. I don't know. That's where my brain went.
Yeah, it's definitely got like that Hunger Games style foreshadowing of like, there's something sinister going on up top, clearly. Amy's commenting that the tone is disjointed, and I can see that too, like where it kind of takes you from like serious death drama to like some silly descriptions of the items. And but I think the descriptions of the items for me were also kind of a tonally just a commentary about how sort of calloused and
callous is a good word.
The game and the whole system is, and the fact that they are using the people that were crushed, as because they're using not only the buildings and things like that, for the safe rooms and stuff, but they're using the people that were crushed, reformatting them into mobs. It kind of reminds me of, from the first Hunger Games book, where they didn't really go into it in the movie, where they have taken right there at the end when it's Katniss and Peeta and the other dude from the Capitol on the cornucopia, they send all these mutts out, and in the book they have the faces and eyes of the other tribute that died on that floor. So they were repurposed specifically to cause physical and mental damage, and that is what they are doing on the crawl, using what's left of what they stole of humanity, using their genetic material just as fodder. And the
Hoarder.
Yeah,
the Hoarder was horrifying.
It was.
Because the Hoarder seemed to, out of all of them, to still have a bit of personality from whoever they were before they were turned into some sort of abomination.
And was so confused and hurt and didn't know what was happening.
Anybody translate the Spanish? It was Spanish, right?
It was, but I didn't translate it. I forgot.
I forgot to do it as well.
I thought about it, and then I was like, I also forgot. But yeah, I almost kind of don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
Because I feel like it would just make it like
that scene was already really hard to read.
Brandy translated it.
Brandy said it was sad. Bethany said it was incredible. So it was just with the juxtaposition of like, this is a game with like that kind of stuff, I think helped me realize that this book was a lot deeper than what I initially thought it was going to be. Because initially I was going into it thinking, it's just going to be a popcorn. It's going to be like Ready Player One, just a good fun time. But then they did something like that, and I was just like, oh man, this is messed up.
Everybody's saying it's really sad, the Spanish.
I knew it was going to be. That whole scene was so sad. I did not enjoy reading it.
I didn't enjoy it, but I appreciate it. Like I think it it helped me to appreciate the book and the stakes. Because nothing like reading something where you don't really feel like the stakes are that high, or that like.
I just wish that Carl had I wish it had affected him a little bit more.
I felt like it did. I felt like he was pretty horrified by it. I mean, he brought it up to Mordecai. Yeah. He brought it up over and over. He's like, "This is you're like using people. It's people. It's Soylent Green."
It might have been part of what Angelina mentioned earlier about it saying that Carl didn't like drama. I feel like at some point in the book, it was brought up that he just kind of was a dude who didn't do a lot of feelings. I'm not sure if I'm mistaken on that. So I wonder if there was something they were trying to do with that tone of like, even a dude who kind of is detached feels this way, but or maybe it really is just that kind of Carl is a little bit more impassive than we would like. I don't know.
I did feel like what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna go back to like. Also, I recognize that Carl doesn't have time to actually process this stuff. Like I need him to.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you think you're dead, but I did think that. I mean, there were times where I felt like, man, Carl has adapted quite well to this dungeon scenario.
But he was Coast Guard.
He was Coast Guard. Yeah, he was ex-military, and I think that helped him.
Well, also like I don't think there's any time to catch
Do
up.
what
You're just
you
like
gotta do.
reacting.
He's really quick with his reactions, and he can think on his feet.
Yeah. I think he got lucky too. I feel like he didn't get as many enemies where he came in at.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got lucky, and Donut got lucky with the thing that made Donut.
The legendary pet boxes they came in, but they both got legendary boxes, and
yeah, they both got legendary boxes.
Yeah, like Missy, she said his internal catchphrase is "You will not break
Yeah,
me."
that's something that shows you that he's having a hard time.
Yeah,
he's having a hard time dealing with that. And then we have these moments, as they go along. Obviously, like they learn things from Mordecai. We learn about Mordecai, and early on they meet the crawler killers. What were their names?
Frank and Maggie Mine.
Frank and Maggie, and they did not resolve that for sure. That's definitely
Oh no, that doesn't get resolved in this book.
it's very little that they
absolutely
resolved.
Does not. In fact, it escalated in this book, and then just like hard stop because they got on that horrible TV show, which would absolutely be on YouTube today. One
of my favorite things with because I just love Donut so much. She's sassy, but she's the heart of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Of the books. She is, because she's young. She is just recently sentient, but she's also a couple. She's still kind of childlike in some ways, but she just my favorite scenes was when they got out of the safe room after they tried to attack them. And Donut was like, how did you know that how did you figure that out? And he's like, well, because yada, 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 yada. And then she was like, how are you Sherlock Holmes with that and had no idea that B was cheating on you with 3 other people? And he was like, what?
Yeah, that the subtle, not so subtle drops of Donut about like Ferdinand and B's other like lovers, and he's just like, we don't have to wait. What? Well, no, we don't have time for this. But yeah, Frank and Maggie, what a story there. That you just think, oh, these are evil people. Then you find out, oh God, and then you find out, oh God, Carl was responsible for the death, or not the death, but the injury of the daughter. He didn't kill her, but that was another moment that you mentioned, Leanne, when Carl deduced that he wasn't alone in the safe room. I love that. I was like, damn, that's smart, and I should have known that too because of the 9.8 experience points. I was like, what a like clever like little thing. And good for you, Carl. Like I would die, but you got it there.
I love the internal chat that you can have with the party members. That's probably one of my favorite parts of the book too.
Yeah. Donut's all caps.
Donut is always in all caps.
I was so glad she did become sentient soon after. Like I wanted to hear what she had to say and not having to just go by like translating meows. I was so glad we get full English from her and like get to hear her.
Yeah, no, she's such a fun character. And I love her and Carl's relationship and how much Carl loves her. The fact that he was like looking up apartments with pet deposits because he was going to steal her. It just was. I love it.
And the way that he just dives on top of her when there's going to be an explosion. And
He's
stuff
like, I'm just
that.
going to protect her. And that when they rest in the safe room, she curls up next to his neck.
Yeah.
Stop yelling. I am yelling. But like
I am yelling, Carl.
so you have like the video game element of it alone, and then you have this like social media like popularity element on top of that. Like this, no, you're not just in a video game, you're in a video game show, which added some depth to me that I appreciated. I'm not even sure it's necessary, but it definitely adds another layer of complexity to what they're doing, because not only are you trying to survive, but you're trying to impress the fans.
I feel like without the social media aspect, I would probably not keep reading, partly because that adds observers. And so it doesn't feel just like corporation against people. There's like somewhat a judicial aspect of the observers. If this person just disappears, there's going to be talk. There might be outcry. And I feel like that gives me slightly less angst while reading it, knowing that you can kind of win people over to your side by being unusual, even if it's not what is wanted.
So yeah,
being entertaining
or heartfelt, or
but there's so many different games that you have to play. Like you have to play the game, and then you have to play the game of like, you know, impressing the people. Like Donut's playing the game by being super charming on these talk shows. Carl not so good at playing the game.
But he did good on that one. That was bad.
That's why they're such a good team, because Carl can handle the, you know, the physical aspect, and Donut's like, hi, we're amazing. And everybody's like, yes, you are.
Yeah, it's just, and I love that. I think it's so cool that they have to think about that on top of that. And Donut is more of a natural, and Carl's like, I don't want to be here, I don't want to do this, but he recognizes the game needs to be played. And it's just I feel like this whole book was just one big like introduction.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do appreciate that Carl's already in book one starting to like focus on what the rules are and like technicalities and like how he can like
exploit them.
Yeah. And so I definitely see more of that coming.
Like getting rid of the rage elemental.
Yes.
Which was terrifying.
Donut, we didn't get the experience for that. What a cheat.
Yeah.
Donut tells us what we're all thinking.
Yeah. Now the question is, would they have killed it had it not fallen into the stairwell?
Nope.
It's a shame. But smart thinking. But now there were some times where like they're describing stuff that's happening during the action scenes that kind of lost me. Like I was unable to kind of figure out what exactly was happening or what exactly they were doing.
Well, I feel like the action scenes a lot of times were really quick and like not very descriptive.
Well, they were descriptive, but I had to look up what a redoubt is.
Oh, yeah.
Is that how you say it? A redoubt? For the ball of the rolling ball. And I just kind of some of that stuff I just kind of had to go with and hope that I kind of figured it out as I went. Like, you know, some of the planning and like he was so good at coming up with plans to deal with stuff, but sometimes like how they executed it was I couldn't quite like figure it out in my brain. But so we talked about was it Frank and Maggie, and then you have the nursing home.
Oh yeah, so Kathy said on Facebook, one thing I think was well done is a discussion of Carl struggling with working out the ethics of continuing to help save the old people versus letting them go out quickly at the Waffle House, and then the 99-year-old woman who thanked Carl for saving her.
Yeah.
I really like that storyline.
I think that storyline helped to bring a lot more like humanity to the game, because it's something you don't really think about. It's like there are probably like very unable people, or you know, people who are unable to go through this game that are in there, like you know, the people in the nursing home, people in the wheelchairs, asshole Jack who started peeing on the walls.
Oh
Um,
gosh.
And he was one of the ones that he had his faculties, you know. He did that. They're like, he knew, they told him, and he did it anyway. And well, you know,
it was an Alabama Waffle House too. It's probably the one down the street. But yeah, that story arc was great because of the humanity that it offered, and like, and you know, you can't help but to think, like, Carl, stop! Like, you're wasting your, like, the same thing that the people were saying on the show or whatever. But he did it anyway.
Yeah.
And I guess some of those people they're moving on to floor 3.
A lot of them.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see whether we see them again. No spoilers.
Oh, the shopping cart lady. That's a super
Agatha.
interesting.
Yes,
Agatha.
that just kind of came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Yeah.
Where she seems to be something else,
Well, he's thinking like maybe she's a plant.
or
Mhm.
she's a plant from a rival, or a plant.
maybe,
I think it's
yeah.
a rival plant because the company of the gear that she had was.
Oh, you reminded me. Sorry, moving on just a little bit, but I thought it was so fascinating that there's all these aliens who go around seeding planets with human stock and then waiting for them to get to a certain point in like civilization so that they can go have first contact and introduce these rules that they know that they're never ever gonna like opt out of because it's ridiculous. I'm like, it's so calculated and so evil and so fascinating.
Yeah.
And like they've clearly been doing this for a really long time.
Yeah, you're playing the
all
long game
over
for
the place.
sure.
Yeah, that's wild.
And the fact that they don't that what they show about the planets that they do this to, they don't show that we have art and music.
Right.
They show, you know, that there's slums and war and murder. So the viewers don't empathize, you know, that's planned in there so the viewers don't empathize with the victims of planet genocide.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. And Agatha did pull the fire alarm so they could go outside. Like,
Yeah.
she was there before
They did
before
confirm
the
that in the book.
thing. Yeah.
Oh, Bethany, I was confused. He still had items from the shopping cart, even though he gave the cart back. The shopping cart went into his inventory, so it, like in video games, you have things that are grayed out, and then once you get one of them, you get the information for them. So she got the shopping cart and all of her stuff back, but because he had the item in his inventory, he now got information about the item.
Yeah. Just because he had it at one point, it was like an unlocked item.
Mm-hmm.
I was confused at first because when I read the rules of the game, I actually thought that they were saying it'll whittle everybody down until there's just one left. And then is the rat Mordecai, or what was the rat? Is he a Mordecai?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. When Mordecai was telling them, like, I got out at level, I think 10 or something, I didn't realize that the extermination was the goal. Nobody gets down to that level where, hey, you can take back your planet. I actually thought that it was required that somebody get down that far. And I wasn't sure if that was like, I read it wrong, or if it was just kind of like, yeah, that's how it is.
Well, I think a lot of them get out by, like what Jeff is saying, they take deals to like be a slave basically to the game.
And the gamers, or the whoever's running it, introduces the game as if that's a realistic option.
Yeah.
And then you learn later that it's not, because they're just leaving that information out.
Like, I think the highest somebody had made it to, a crawler had made it to, was level 13.
13.
Yeah.
And it was Mordecai had made it to that level, and he didn't.
No, Mordecai did not.
He didn't go. He stopped at 12 and took a deal.
Yeah.
And I can't actually imagine Donna and Carl getting that far being as there, but I'm curious. Is that mean something else can happen? Does it, or do we see them get like lots better? I'm curious because I can't actually see just like a human and a cat going further than Mordecai.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
I can't.
looking
I
forward.
can't. Yes, but I can't say anything.
I'm looking. I mean, they teased, some of these other superstar crawlers, the one with the dogs, and
I
then there
like the
was
one of the dogs.
there was that whole well, that one got slaughtered. Like all of the people with the guns, they all
Yeah.
got slaughtered except for one of them.
Suspicious.
And then
Yeah, like CMR.
yeah, and but going on like Odette's show versus going on the other show, the
But-
Death Watch.
Death Watch, yeah.
Death Watch.
I was glad we got the social media manager back that we were worried about. The donut was worried about.
Zev.
Yeah.
Zev.
Zev. He and Donut like are buddies.
Oh yeah, because they watched Gossip Girl.
And,
Like, oh my
and
gosh.
Zev was like, and then there's the fanfics, and Donut's like, what's that? He's like, oh my god.
Yeah, you got to read this. It's written by people. So yeah, like, I mean, we only got 2 floors.
We got 3.
Did we see? We didn't get to floor 3.
Floor 3 was the pet floor.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure it was. That's when they got the pet, and I feel like they didn't care at all about the floor, and all we heard about was the pet, and I was kind of annoyed about it.
I thought
No,
I thought we only got 2
we didn't
floors.
we didn't. 3 is
Yeah, they haven't gone down to 3 yet.
Okay.
this.
Okay, my bad.
This is 3.
I was still super annoyed with like how when they got the pet, that was the whole focus, and I feel like it took a huge detour.
What, having the pet?
Yeah, and like how the story just kind of got derailed by it.
Oh my god,
Well-
I love Mongo.
That didn't bother me so much because I was looking at the percentage. And I was like, I'm close to the end of this book.
I was
Because
reading pretty fast at that point too because I needed to get it back to the library.
Because I read it on Kindle, and so like like this, Mongo didn't come in until like
Near the
very
end.
late. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is just, we're wrapping it up now. And so like they're having to like train Mongo and stuff. Was me being like, all right, we're just setting Mongo up for like later time.
I think Mongo's gonna be great. I did not appreciate Mongo in book 1, and it wasn't Mongo. It's just that the focus once Mongo arrived was solely on Mongo, and I felt like that didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I think as an ending, it was strange, and like, you mentioned to me that this was actually like a series of like internet.
Oh yeah, that's what Jeff said in
fiction
Discord,
or
that it was
something
like
that before.
it was published on the internet.
So
That makes a little more sense to me. Okay.
so like the fact that it just kind of stops is like him just saying like, all right, this is where I'm going to end the first book. But
Yeah, he wrote it during the pandemic.
They were getting published so fast. Like I think they saw so many books out, and they started publishing in like 2020. So I was like, how did so many books already?
Yeah, there's what 7 out so far.
Yeah, 7.
That's
And I'm
wild.
about yay done from finishing it. I had to put it down to get on the stream.
Oh,
So-
Leanne, I'm honored that
Let's
you're
just-
here
let's just
instead
watch
of reading.
Leanne finish it.
Yeah.
Jason's
Yeah.
been waiting. He's like, have you finished it yet? Have you finished it yet? Have you finished it yet? So,
Yeah, and Kira says it wasn't even a cliffhanger, just a weird stop. And I mean, there's plenty in the book that is cliffhanger.
Mhm.
Like pretty much everything they introduced us to is cliffhanger in this book because, like, again, we only got 2 floors. But yeah, I think as far as like story structure as a standalone thing, it's kind of like just
Yeah.
kind of ended.
Yeah.
But I
they also go from this.
Is it gonna be twice as big or twice as small?
to
oh,
Oh.
this is the one I'm almost done with. It has one of the original covers. Like it's a paperback. The hardcover that matches this art is coming out in September. Yeah. So I'm going to order that. It's not quite the biggest one so far has been This one.
Whoa.
It's like
Whoa.
820 pages.
Wow.
I feel like Matt was very inspired to write all of that so fast. That's pretty awesome.
So that
Seems like
was the day that I posted in Discord that I was up till 5 a.m. that I had literally no respect for Tomorrow Leanne. But it was the weekend, so it didn't matter much.
Oh, good.
Yeah, by the time we get to book 10, you won't be able to pick it up.
Yeah.
Brandon Sanderson problems.
Hmm.
But I really enjoyed like the boss battles. They were also different. And the Krakarin cracked me up.
The Krakarin, yeah.
Krakarin, the description for the Krakarin, which didn't match any of like the actual monsters things, except it just had a bunch of mouths, tentacles. But like the description was, it'll try to get you in an MLM, which is probably the worst fate. Really.
She'll message you on Facebook. You hadn't spoken to her since high school, and she's like, "Hey,
yeah.
I think would you like some? I think you'd be great to sell some of these vitamin supplements."
Vitamins and yeah,
Gosh, the smoothies.
the smoothies.
Ugh.
Yeah. Oddly enough, like 2 weeks after I read that, somebody mentioned matcha was the flavor of blended up fairies, and I was just like, these are two completely different fandoms that I'm in. How did that analogy come up twice? It was really strange.
That is.
It is not a pyramid scheme.
I
yeah,
appreciated the concept of if you complain about something, they're gonna keep doing it because the complaining is entertaining. That was pretty funny to me.
Yeah.
Carl and his feet.
Yeah.
And his pants.
Because I was
And,
like, why
like,
aren't
no
they giving?
pants.
Oh, that's why they're not giving him handy things, because that makes it funny.
And donut
Yeah.
and the treats.
Oh no, the
Right.
torches.
No, it was the torches and torches.
Well, because Donut even has like a torch spell,
Yeah.
so she like doesn't need any
Doesn't need
torches. I thought it was hilarious that he is basically overpowered his feet at this point, and then he finally gets shoes that he can't wear.
Oh, right.
That cracked me up.
And the same thing with weapons too. Like his fists are so overpowered that
Mhm.
like getting weapons is
The fact that the AI has this weird foot obsession with Carl. Hi, Ziggy.
oh, there's donut.
That was really hilarious.
Oh, this is a PG show there, kitty. Yeah, the AI with the foot fetish. I forgot about it.
Meow. Oh, and the narration for that one is hilarious because
The audiobook.
I let him listen to the AI like when you have an achievement, but it's totally different when it's
When it's the sexy
foot thing.
foot one.
It's really funny and awkward.
The AI's foot fetish saved his life.
That narrator is so good. And he said he does admit, he's like, when we first started this, I had been messing around with like a Patrick Warburton impersonation. He's like, and that is what ended up coming out for Carl. He said, but I refined it in the second book, and it's a little less Warburton-ish, and it becomes its own character. He's like, but yeah, it was a Patrick Warburton impersonation.
Doing Kronk. Doing Putty from Seinfeld.
I liked the end of the book. What new achievement? You read a book.
Yeah.
Reward?
Yeah, the achievements were great.
Oh,
like
they're
the
so
descriptions
good.
of the items were great. I was interested to see more of like, when they made friends with the goblins, or like when they like just kind of befriended some of the enemies.
Well, Princess Donut's what is it? Charisma abilities are wild.
Yeah.
And they go into the safe rooms and they're like, oh, my princess. And she's like, I would like some salmon. And they're like, yes, princess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Princess Donut. I'm glad that Donut was more than just like some quips.
Yeah.
Because initially I was a little bit worried that that's what Donut was going to be, and I was like, I need more from this. And and I'm glad that they gave that to me. Like I like the character development with the cat.
Mhm.
There's a lot of character development with the cat, and I have in books 5, 6, and 7. I've damn near cried with character development for the
Aw.
cat.
Oh,
So these books are written for Leanne.
Huh?
These books were written for you.
They are. I was, when Jason and I were first talking about it, and he was like, well, and she just grabbed the tiara and put it on her head. And he's like, you didn't even read what it said. And she's like, it's purple, Carl. Purple is my color, Carl. And I said, oh my God, I love Princess Donut. And he said, you are Princess Donut. He said, you would do exactly the same thing.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes Donut's hastiness, as much as it gets them in trouble at times, also saves them and helps them not get mired in decision making. So I think sometimes that actually just helps things go and might save them sometimes, even though it's somewhat could be seen as problematic from a human standpoint.
Impulsive.
I also love that she doesn't have to she gets to use things with her mind, so she actually has an advantage over Carl in some ways because she doesn't have to manipulate things with her hands.
Yeah, she's got a lot of advantages over Carl. Like Carl's like give all your spells to Donut because of the leveling and
yeah.
Yeah,
I was trying to find my notes, but I couldn't find them.
And
well, if you remember, her constitution is really low.
It's really low.
Yeah.
What does Constitution do though? What is that?
Like
it's
health
like
bar, I thought.
Like your constitution is being able to take a hit.
Oh.
Which is one of the reasons why Carl is very, protecting of her because, she can die so quickly because she can't survive the types of blows that he can.
Mm-hmm.
Which is good that she's getting all the magic because that gives her the advantage of being able to attack from a distance usually.
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like I watched this as a TV show, but as a book, it didn't work for me. I would play this as a game. Not like me personally, because I would just be dead.
Right. I feel like it'd be too dark for me to play, but I could see it making a real good game.
I love that Carl just picks everything up. He's like, "Can I pick it up?" Yeah. Goes in the inventory.
It took me a while to realize
What's that?
that.
Inventory. Is that a table? Sure, let's put that in there too.
So you can have an unlimited. Your inventory is unlimited.
He takes that seriously.
Yeah.
Going in the interview room. Can I pick this up? No.
Yeah. Because at first I was thinking, man, he's just gonna bog himself. Because some games, your inventory is limited, or like it has like a weight limit.
Unlimited inventory.
If things weigh too much, then you're slower and whatever. But
I appreciate that he's collecting everything because that's how I play video games. You collect and never use, if possible.
Well, no, he does use it. Remember, that he had the little goblin motorcycle in there. He had those tables in there, and that was how they were able to build the thing.
The redoubt.
Yeah. So, that's how they're able to build the ramp in the redoubt. That's how they were able to build, the trebuchet thing that got the elemental demon to chase them.
Yeah.
It's because he had all that crap in there.
He's very crafty. And I guess the people from the nursing home were also pretty crafty, building trains that they could basically shuttle the people around on. And him being crafty and him being like, it seems like his character is definitely moving towards like explosives demolition expert traits. He likes to make things go boom, as Lauren says. And just exploding everything. Which, as a game player, that's not the route that I go. Like just explosive. Whenever I play RPGs, for some reason I always picked ranged characters because I like to be I don't like to be up front. I like to be like, you're dead from over here. Die.
Thing about it is I don't really play video games, but as a nerd that is nerd adjacent to people that do play video games, I'm familiar with all, like the unlimited like the screens and things like that. I'm an old paper D&D player, so I do game, but just with paper and dice. But
That's
But-
like the first one.
Yeah.
The role playing
so-
game.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this. I would.
do we trust Odette?
No. No. And I think Odette basically told them not to trust her.
Yeah, and I think that's why I
Pretty
don't.
much.
Otherwise, I might.
Yeah. I mean, there are characters that I think I trust, and maybe it's a false sense of security. I trust Mordecai.
Mhm.
I trust Zev to an extent. But Jeff's a Leroy Jenkins kind of player. That's Donut or Agatha. Agatha was like Leroy Jenkins to me. You know what Leroy Jenkins is? So there's this very old, like World of Warcraft.
Oh,
video.
blessed people don't. Oh God, people don't know it. Do they not know what Leroy Jenkins is?
So it's just like a party of World of Warcraft avatars, and like you can hear the voice chat. They're like talking about how they're going to go in and kill this boss, and there's one little guy who's like sitting on the ground, and his name is Leroy Jenkins. And so they're all like talking and like, okay, you go in and do this, you're going to aggro this, and we're going to have this plan. And all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, Leroy stands up and he just goes, Leroy Jenkins. And he just runs in, and they're like, oh, Leroy.
Damn it, Leroy.
And
Because everybody's
all-
getting killed now because he
Everybody
went in
died.
and he messed up their boss fight, but yeah.
So he just like all of a sudden out of nowhere, he's like, Leroy Jenkins.
Jenkins.
And like,
You know, we're going to have to put that in the lounge after this is over.
yeah. And it is that old Jeff.
Psych
Yeah.
reference, though.
Yeah, well, Leroy Jenkins. So that's Donut a little bit. It's like Leroy Jenkins just run in, do the thing.
Carl tries to protect everyone as much as he can.
Carl he's a protector, and he's trying.
He's a protector, and he has this, well, I'm going to do it so nobody else gets hurt kind of
Yeah.
thing.
And he's also kind of like a voice of reason and rationality amongst the others. And I think that he's constantly also trying to like rein everybody else in and like kind of maintain control as much as he can, which constantly seems like it's slipping away from him. He has to like sort of reel it back in. But Carl, there are times where I get kind of upset with Carl. I'm like, just play the game. Just don't be so crotchety and like angry, because sometimes I would read like his responses to like Odette or something as like, you're saying the wrong thing. Stop it. Let Donut do the thing.
I do love
Please let Donut talk.
Yeah. I do love how on Death Watch he got the two guys sent into the safe room, and then him and
Yeah.
Donut sent to like fight the wasps or whatever.
Yeah.
Like ended up saving them. I thought that was pretty great.
Yeah.
They weren't sent there.
Were they not sent into the safe room?
I think
No.
it was the threat of it. I
So-
don't remember who he was using as a threat.
So what happened, I think, to what I remember is
He ended up telling them how to win.
he told them how to win.
How to
So
beat them. So they ended up, once they went back there or teleported back there, they were able to defeat it on their own, and they survived.
Yeah,
Right.
he saved them by telling them what to do, and so it kind of thwarted the host's plan. He's like, "Do this," and they're like, oh, "Okay," and then boop. He told the host to send them instead,
Okay.
but
Wasn't something the host
he
was
didn't,
or could do.
because I think Carl was trying to call his bluff, because he knew how expensive they were, and that the Overwatchers or whatever wouldn't risk sending Carl and Donut there to basically die.
Mhm.
So he was like calling their bluff and then told them how to win. And he just the way Carl played that talk show was really well done, and that he just sort of bested the host at his own game.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, they are not ready for Carl.
Yeah, that was clear.
Yeah. Was it Glurp?
Oh, yes. Blurp, blurp.
Glurp,
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 glurp.
glurp, glurp.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. In the narration, it's really annoying how they say it.
Hmm.
What about the the maestro?
The maestro. Who was the maestro? I remember the maestro. Who was the maestro?
The is it Crown Prince Stalwart?
Wait.
The Orc Prince.
The
Oh,
the host
oh,
of
that's the
Death
host.
Watch.
The Death Watch host. Right?
Okay. Right.
Yeah, he sucked.
I need to.
He sucked. I did not like him. He was like, but like it is ominous enough. He's like, "We'll see you on floor 9," basically, because he's the
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
he's
crown.
part of the family.
crown thing. The
Yeah.
sex tape fan fiction though is Bobby.
Yeah.
That was great.
That was unexpected.
Carl's little piggy. Yep. I forgot his name was the Maestro.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that was. They have like trillions of viewers, trillions.
Oh, it gets
This other thing only has millions. So,
yeah. Like
yeah.
quintillions.
Yeah, geez. Quintillions. That's a number. That's made up. What else? We're getting close. We're hitting the hour mark.
Yeah.
I feel like we could just keep talking about this book. But the more we talk about it, the more we're just going to keep talking about the books after this.
Yeah, I like how I kind of felt like you mentioned like kind of the Hunger Games, but I also kind of felt like Carl has somehow ended up in the type of Flash Gordon role where it's like all the kingdoms of Mongo and how Ming the Merciless rules them all. And he's like, how am I in this situation where I'm like trying to unite and save what? That's not what I wanted.
Mhm.
I don't think any of this is what he wanted.
Yeah.
And you think about it, like, you know, what they did to the planet. I am interested to see, no spoilers, if we see B again.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say there's a
I
lot.
know there's like 8 books after this one,
Not well. Some people are saying that there's supposed to be 10 books total.
but he has.
I think there's supposed to be 10 total. Like I said, so far it's been published up to 7.
Got
so
it.
there's 6 more books after this one.
And
Right.
Carl Dinniman is going to be at Dragon Con, and I'm going to be like, hey, I got some questions for you.
Yeah, he's gonna be there. Tell us if he's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a lot of like what ifs. There's a lot of like
I feel like we're definitely gonna see.
we
B.
gotta see B again. There's
Oh,
a
and
whole-
hubby and I are cosplaying Carl and Donut at Dragon Con as well.
yeah, you're gonna have to post all the pictures of that.
That's amazing.
But
This is the tiniest part of my Donut cosplay.
Nice. It's perfect.
So to wrap it up, are you gonna keep reading, Christy?
Yeah, I am.
It
Giggles?
ended in the middle. I'm gonna have to because the story's started. I'm gonna need to know where it goes.
You gotta keep going. Leanne, are you gonna read the next one?
I don't know.
I am gonna keep reading. There's so many seeds that were planted in this book that I think are great I think they're great threads that I'm looking forward to seeing where they go and how they continue and what new sort of hell they get themselves into, and how this the world within the world, and the world outside the world develops. So
I like the characters and I like the thought, the big brain stuff that goes on. So, in that case, I'll keep reading.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of books we have like, oh, this is world building. Well, this is universe building.
yeah, there's so many different layers to Dungeon Crawler Carl, which I can appreciate. I just appreciate Matt Dinniman. He must have like all of the notebooks of notes and like trying to keep all this stuff straight.
Well, there was an interview, and he said there are two types of writers. There are the planners, and those are people like V.E. Schwab. If you watch any of her stuff, she'll talk about how she has like bullet journals, and she has all these outlines and things for her books, and she writes everything out, plans everything out. And he says, I'm what's called a pantster, whereas it just kind of comes to me as I'm going, and I'm going flying by the seat of my pants.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh.
But still, you gotta like keep. There's so much to keep track of, even retroactively, like all the.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure he has books like that, but as far as like planning, I'm just like, oh no.
Maybe that's why he's writing them so fast, so that he doesn't like forget threads.
No, I would. That's why I think I need to read the second one sooner than later, because I'm going to forget about all like just keeping track of like the different things they have equipped and the different stats and buffs, and like you got to have character sheets on all these people, and you got to keep like.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably does have character sheets on everyone.
That's super impressive to me, and yeah. So anyway. Any other final thoughts on Dungeon Crawler Carl?
I know Jeff was trying really hard to do the math about how experience got divided up, and I'm like, oh no, don't math that hard. Don't.
So hear yourself.
This is for fun, not for math. So
for fun, not for math. That's my
right. It's for fun, not for math.
That's the words I live by. Hey, any final thoughts?
No. I like I thought going into this discussion, I am now even more excited to read the second book. Yes. So thank you guys.
We did it. Well, awesome. Well, this has been great. Tune in. What is it, next week for
a club meeting?
Our club meeting.
Oh wow!
And then
the book discussion is
later,
Wednesday, July 23rd.
For what book?
For Every Heart a Doorway by Shannon McGuire.
Every Heart a Doorway.
And then we can go ahead and announce our the winner of the August book poll.
By a landslide, it looks like.
Yeah. An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green.
Cool.
So that's exciting.
We did it, Hank. Did it. So cool. Dungeon Crawler Carl is just a gateway drug into a larger universe that we're all going to get sucked into probably. So maybe we can have one of those side quests.
I think that people are already talking about it.
For Dungeon Crawler Carl in the Discord. So if you're not in Discord, get there.
Get there.
Or you can see this cat up
this
close.
This is here. The big main tune that kind of reminds me of Donut.
Yeah.
Hello. Oh, there you are.
So fluffy.
So fluffy. Okay.
Hi.
Well, that wraps it up.
That does.
Thank you so much for being here, Leanne and Giggles. We appreciated your insight, and for everybody in the comment section, thank you for being here as well. It's so much fun to talk about books with y'all.
Very much.
Jeff.
Yeah, mine too. So thank you, and we'll see you in a week for the club meeting.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. It'll be fun. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.